What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video in the next episode of the MotoGP career mode for part number 24. Today, the Argentinian Grand Prix, which is round 2 of season 2 of our MotoGP 25 career mode. If you missed the last episode, I recommend you go back and check it out because it was an interesting debut at the Chang International Circuit. Mixed conditions, red flags, we had it all at the opening round in Thailand, but we managed to get through and bag a strong 4th place in our season opener with the Italtrans team. Now, we are back-to-back Q2 appearances, if that's even a word. We've managed to get back-to-back direct passages into Q2, and we're going to head out now for a attack around the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. Now, you might have spotted a little number 1 on the top of my crash helmet as we were bending over to get ready to head out onto the circuit. That's just simply a nod to the championship victory in Moto3 last time out. So that's why I've got a random 1 at the top of my helmet. Now, as we peel into turn number 2 on our first flying lap, we're getting down to business here in Argentina. And as we skip on to later on in that lap, you can see that we've actually managed to gain a little bit of time on Moreira. The gap visually isn't quite as big, although he managed to extend a little bit of time through that really long tyre, punishing turn 12 as we head now into the final corner on the track. The tricky little right-hander and then the flick left over the line, and we cross the line to go a 10th and a bit quicker than Diogo Moreira on the Italtrans bike. And we know that Moreira is going to feature somewhere near the front, so that's going to be a good start for us here in Q2. But as we skip on to the end of our very next lap, diving into the pits, we're relegated down to P13 and a full second off of the Honda Team Asia biker Marcos Ramirez. So that's not ideal. We need to really find a lot of time. And then as we skip on to the end of the session, when we venture back out, as Ivan Ortola picks up a long lap penalty. Weirdly, he's shown it on the graphic there as I say that he was exiting the pits to start run 3. So I'm not sure what's happened there, but we're coming to the end of our assault. We crossed the line, and it's an improvement, but it's only P16, which is where we qualified on the grid for the Thai Grand Prix at the season opener. But down into turn number 1 for what might be our final lap of the session. We might squeeze in another lap if it's a competitive one, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got a group ahead, which I'm not sure who it consists of, but we're trying our best to just close up to that group. We've got a nice little visual marker that we can just chase these guys, and it is working as we go red in the first sector. So our fastest overall first sector, which means that the lap that we are on is currently a provisional pole lap. Now, we've managed to catch up to the back of Celestino Vietti, who's down in 12th as it stands. We're getting held up a little bit through this final corner. I would have liked to enter a little bit quicker, but Vietti was a bit of a roadblock. Now, as we cross the line, it's going to be a half a second improvement, and it's going to be P11 only as we do a 38.9. Vietti's relegated to P13, but we do have another lap, but unfortunately it wasn't an improvement on our 38.9. It's going to be 11th position on the grid for the Argentinian Grand Prix, which isn't the end of the world. We're inside the points. We've got a few good names around us. We've got Arenas, who we battled with last time out in Thailand. We've got Alonso Lopez on the Red Bull bike. We've got Joe Roberts. But on pole position, it's the speed up of Aaron Canet. 2 tenths clear of Dennis Onchu. Marcos Ramirez there in 3rd. Bouter's 4th, and our teammate is rounding out the top 5 in the middle of the second row, joined by Senna Agius. So that's how the top 6 looks. That's how the rest of the grid looks for the top 12. And we're going straight into race day here in Argentina for round 2 of the Moto2 World Championship at the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit. And as you can see, in contradiction to qualifying, it's nice blue skies compared to the overcast clouds that we had for Q2. So we're starting this one from just outside the top 10, which is not a bad place to start, I don't think, in a Moto2 race as we head to the grid and have a full rundown of the Moto2 Argentinian Grand Prix grid. So Canet on pole, he is the man to beat really in the Moto2 Championship here in Argentina. He's had good form in practice, and he's backed that up with a pole position in qualifying as well. Dennis Onchu, he was a rider who had a long lap penalty thrown at him in Thailand, so we didn't get to see his full potential, and then he struggled to work his way back through the field throughout the 4 lap red flag restarted Moto2 race in Thailand. Jorge Navarro, he rounds out the field for the second time in succession. And as mentioned in qualifying, Ivan Tola has a long lap penalty. Now, we're going to change strategy a little bit after the Thai Grand Prix, the first stint of the Thai Grand Prix that was held in the dry. And with the glitch that the medium tyre gives you where it's cold, we are going to go for the soft tyre. Soft all-round, front and rear, which will hopefully maintain a consistent temperature throughout this race in Argentina, which gets underway in a sluggish fashion for ourselves. We were slow off the line and we're already relegated down a couple of positions. We managed, though, to just fend a few riders off. As we head through turn number 1, there's a lot more riders steaming through our inside, and we're down to P16. We pick up a few places on the exit, and now we're going to look for a swinging line through turn 2, but we've touched the back of Alex Escridge, and we've gone down, and we've taken down Sergio Garcia as well, and we've got a red flag on the opening lap of the Moto2 World Championship race in Argentina, which means we're going to get a full restart from original grid positions. We tried to get the switch back up the inside at turn 2. We ran into the back of Escridge, who went down. Our bike then took out Sergio Garcia, whose then flipping bike took out our respawning bike. It was chaos down at turn 2 on the opening lap of the Grand Prix. There's an incident warning for David Alonso further back as well, so I don't know whether that means he's going to have to do a long lap in this race or not. It didn't say long lap, it just said incident, but I've never seen that for a rider with an incident in the MotoGP game before a race. It normally only displays the long lap penalties, but anyway, let's try again. Take 2 in Argentina. We are underway, and it's a bit of a better start. We're not quite as sluggish, but we do still lose positions. Hand over fist to Arbolino, Cooney, Vietti as well. And as we head into turn 1, the man who we took out as Agius crashes out. Stella Agius has gone down on the Dynavolt bike. We were too busy looking at Escridge, who ran into the back of us and lost the front. The man who we took out at this very corner, who's now steaming up the inside again at turn 2. Escridge means business here. He's got a bit of payback on his mind, I think, after we took him out in the opening run of this race. Now we're safely through and onto the back straight as Lopez comes steaming through. He then runs into the back of Escridge, which kills all his momentum and allows us to just steam on through. And we're back up into P12, and that is round the outside of Cooney and Vietti, but we get squeezed out a little bit. We lose the front as we make contact with Cooney. So it's been another bit of a hectic start to the Moto2 race, but thankfully no red flags, and we can get on with this 7-lap race. 6.5 laps remaining. We're going to line up a move on Yuki Cooney down into turn number 7. No way through there, though, as Cooney defends nicely, and in doing so, Lopez plans his line to perfection and cuts on through and moves up into P12. We're going to try and look round the outside into turn 9, but no way through on the Red Bull KTM rider, so he's up into P12 and we're back down to P13 with Alex Escridge, the man who's been at the centre with ourselves of all the drama so far in this Argentinian Grand Prix. He's behind us, but we get a really nice run through turn 11 and we managed to get ahead of Alonso Lopez and back into P12, and now we can try and set our sights on Yuki Cooney as we run right up close to the back of that Honda Team Asia Kalex, and now across the line to start lap number 2, and we do it all over again for the next minute and 30 odd seconds. Cooney slow off the final corner, we blast past him and we get ourselves up into P11, and now we thread the eye of the needle up the inside of Vietti at the end of lap number 2. A big move there up the inside of Celestino Vietti. He was caught napping a little bit on the apex. Our closing speed was good as well, and we're through on the Italian, and now we set our sights on the 2 OnlyFans American racing bikes of Tony Arbolino, who leads American Joe Roberts, and we are now inside the top 10, so a good move there from ourselves on Celestino Vietti, and now we've got to try and work our way through the pack and try and get nearer the top 5 as Dixon, who's running in 7th at the minute, he has a big look over his shoulder through turn 2, and all he will see is a sea of blue as the 2 American racing bikes lead us, but we're going to split them now as we get past Joe Roberts with a big run on the back straight, and we move up into P9, which is good for us. Now, I was just about to say, the runaway leader in this Moto2 Argentinian Grand Prix is Dennis Onshu, the Blue Crew Pramac rider, who has obviously found some pace overnight, because even though he qualified on the front row, he was still 2/10 shy of Aaron Canet, but he is absolutely dominating here in Argentina. He is extracting every single last bit of performance from that 765 engine that is on the Street 77765 Triumph road going bike. He's extracting all the performance on that. We made a mistake, and that's allowed Vietti through, who has also cleared Joe Roberts on that lap. So we're back down to P10. Now, can we have a look up the inside and replicate the move that we did a couple of laps ago? We go for it on the inside of Vietti, but this time there's contact, and it's reminiscent of Marquez and Rossi. It's reminiscent of all of the final corner classics in Argentina. And Vietti holds the position, but he's slow on the straight, and we cut over his nose, and we do take 9th position back from him, but he's looking back to the inside. He holds a tighter line. We look for the switchback on the exit, try and drive through. We're side by side with Vietti, and we do get back ahead of the Dynavolt bike, and we are through and into 9th position as we flick our way through the right-hander onto the back straight as we spin up a little bit. And you can see that the right side of the tyre taking a little bit more of a punishing. It's fairly equal on the rear, but the right side of the tyre as we absolutely blast past Tony Arbolino like he's stopped on the OnlyFans American Racing bike as we drop down into turn 5. But yeah, the right side of the tyre is the race leader Dennis Onchu also spinning up onto the back straight. He leads Canet, then Diogo Moreira, our teammate, who's having a good run so far in 3rd position from 5th on the grid. He's been closed right down though by Bautas, who has chopped out the throttle, and actually is going to mean that Moreira hangs on to 3rd on this specific occasion. So Bautas had a chance there to take 3rd but didn't take it. He leads Renas, who rounds out the top 5. Then it's Ramirez in 6th, Dixon 7th, we're in 8th, and then Arbolino in 9th. As Bautas again looking to the inside at turn 7, but no way through for him on the Fantic machine. Moreira doing well to hang on to 3rd, but doesn't look like he has the pace to go with the speed up of Aaron Canet at this stage of the race. As we get back on board with our race here in Argentina, we've got a nice little gap over Tony Arbolino, and we're starting to close in a little bit to Jake Dixon. So we can see what we could do as Arbolino sends it from downtown Termas. An absolute huge dive bomb from Tony Arbolino on the American Racing bike. The front end of that bike had absolutely gone. So far gone. I thought he was crashing and I thought he was taking us with him, but thankfully we're both on the bike still as we get a track limits warning as we look for a switch back up the inside of Arbolino. But wow, that's woke me up a little bit. I thought we had a decent gap over Tiger Tony, who absolutely sent it to the inside at turn number 1. So we need to be aware that we have a bit of a dive bomb master behind us in the form of Tony Arbolino and carry that knowledge into the rest of the season. But we cover him off nicely at the end of the back straight, and then we flick through turn 6, this very long punishing tyre, and you can see the difference between myself and Arbolino, who's able to carry a little bit more speed through that corner. Maybe the medium rear tyre would have been alright, as the rear tyre is fine in terms of the temperature glitch. It just seems to be the front tyre. Maybe that would have been fine, but we are really battering the soft tyre and the edge of the soft tyre as it stands now. Into turn number 1, we've got to keep our wits about us because Arbolino's quick through this section of the track, and there he is again on that American Racing bike, looking for a way through as we spin up, and that gives Arbolino a chance to go side by side, but Ramirez has crashed ahead at turn 2. Marcos Ramirez is down and is crashed out of the race on the final lap of the Termas de Rio circuit, and that is a disaster for him, who was holding a space inside that top 5. I think he was ahead of Arenas at that point, but he's gone down and he is out of the race. And what's happened to Tony Arbolino? Why is he so far back? As we look to the inside of Dixon, no way through on him for 6th position in this race, but Arbolino has dropped so far back. So something has happened with Tiger Tony at the start of this final lap. He was there as we headed through turn 2. But whether he got caught out with the yellow flag and looking to the inside and panicked thinking it was going to overtake under a yellow, I don't know, but something has happened to Tony Arbolino. But it doesn't matter because we are locked in battle now with Dixon for P6. But out front, it is this man, Dennis Onchu, who has been absolutely, he's gone down! I don't believe it! Dennis Onchu has crashed from the lead of the race with about a 6-second lead. Onchu is down and out of the Argentinian Grand Prix, and he gifts the lead to Aaron Canet, who is now going to take victory over Diogo Moreira, who on that last lap managed to get back ahead of Bottas. We make a mistake though, and we're very deep on the brakes. It's going to be victory for Canet. Moreira second, Bottas third, Arenas fourth, Dixon fifth, and we round out the top six for another strong result in our opening 2 races, the 4th and the 6th. That will do nicely in Argentina, but drama on the final lap. Ramirez crashes out and Onchu crashes out of the race. A 1:38.9. That is electrifying pace from Dennis Onchu. This is what it does to the championship. Onchu had a huge chance to move himself right up the order in the Moto2 World Standings, but instead is languishing out of the top 12. It's Aaron Canet, your race victor, who moves to the top of the standings. He replaces Lopez, who's joint on points with our teammate Diogo Moreira as we head into round 3. We are down to P5, but that's fine. 13 points, joint on points with Celestino Vietti, so not too worried at this point. We've still got a lot of races to go. Intel Trans are the top of the team standings as well. It would be nice to actually fight for a team standings this year, because our teammate last year, Nicola Carraro, wasn't particularly the quickest teammate, let's say, in the world. Next up though, we go to Kota for round number 3 of the Moto2 World Championship. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you in Texas, in stateside, for round 3 of the Moto2 World Championship. So until then, thank you for watching, and goodbye.